Hi, I'm Danny with Skinner Guitars, and in less than 15 minutes you're going to know exactly how I built this Jazzmaster-style guitar out of a shipping pallet. So let's get started. I'm not going to make you watch me tear apart a pallet. There are already plenty of videos on YouTube that cover that process. But once the material was in manageable pieces, I did 3 separate glue-ups to construct my body blank. This finger-jointed acacia pallet was made up of mostly 3/4 inch by 4.5 inch planks that I used to build a slab about 18 inch by 20 inch by 2.25 inch, which is way bigger than I needed in almost every dimension. But I was more concerned with the value of my time than how much material I'd be wasting in the process. This was, after all, material that was being thrown away. This is the second glue up. I wanted to make sure that if I needed to flatten anything out, it would easily fit through my 13.5 inch planer without any issues before assembling the final slab. So you'll notice that there's no glue in the center joint here. Of course, this added a day to the process, but I'm never in any real hurry when I build these guitars. I probably didn't need these cauls here, but I've gotten used to using them, and it kind of feels like a best practice. I rub sawdust all over the surface to soak up any glue squeeze out. I stacked and glued 2 of the original planks to create my neck blank. It started out roughly 30 inches by 4.5 inches by 1.5 inch. Again, this is way more material than necessary, but I'd rather have too much than not enough at this stage of the build. And here I'm checking for a light, tight joint between the remaining 2 halves of the body blank, and noticing that I have no need to run these through my planer anyway. So I glue it and clamp it one last time. Using a 60 grit sanding disc on my random orbital sander, I leveled the top and the bottom of the blank perfectly flat before tracing a Jazzmaster shape onto it from a template that I downloaded and had printed on a plotter printer at Office Depot. Using a jig I built and my trim router with a 1/4 inch straight bit, I cut a channel in the top of the neck blank for a double action truss rod. After using a thin strip of masking tape to prevent glue from getting all over my rod, I glue on a sapele fingerboard and clamp it up before gluing a small cut-off scrap to the bottom of the headstock paddle to accommodate a great big Jazzmaster headstock. Then I use my oscillating belt sander to thin out the headstock and create the transition from the fretboard to the headstock. I traced the headstock shape from a printout onto the end of my neck. Using the square end of my 24 inch level as a guide, I carefully cut my fret slots to the appropriate depth. With my bandsaw, I cut close to the line, delineating the final shape of my neck to lighten the workload of my trim router when cutting the final shape, and cleaned up my cuts with the oscillating belt sander. Using my router, I followed my neck template to achieve the perfect shape. The keen-eyed among you may notice that that's a Telecaster neck template, not a Jazzmaster. At the time, it was the only one I had, and if it works, it's not stupid, is it? Don't answer that. Back at my bandsaw, I follow the line I traced on the blank as closely as I can without crossing it. I don't have the benefit of a router template for this build. Not because they don't exist, but because I don't have that sweet YouTube money yet, so I have to do things on the cheap. On a completely unrelated note, it would be amazing if you would like, subscribe, and comment to help me grow my channel. Thanks in advance. Using my pick guard, I transfer the locations of all my screw holes, bridge position, and neck pocket. I use a large chisel to remove the lion's share of the waste. Then I follow the neck pocket of my Telecaster template to cut to the lines. Because as we have already established, I am shockingly cheap. I use my level as a straight edge to mark the locations of my pickup, bridge, and tailpiece. This tool is called a Shinto rasp. I use a method known as faceting to establish the exact right neck profile. I have an upcoming video where I'll be describing in excruciating detail how this operation is performed, or at least how I do it, so watch out for that. Yeah, there's just an awful lot of this. Oh look, sanding. I for one am shocked. At the drill press, I remove as much material as I can, once again to keep from overworking my router when I finalize the outer edges of my body cavities. I actually made some 1/4-inch MDF and paper tracings of my downloaded drawings to make custom templates of my own to complete all of this. You can see a couple of them here. I plan to make another video about that process in the very near future as well. I drill the cavity for the Jazzmaster-style tremolo tailpiece and get as close as I can to the edges with my chisel before taping down the shop-made router template and cleaning it up. Again, I use the Shinto rasp to remove material for the forearm and belly contour. And then there's just so much sanding. With the body done and ready for finish, I use my fretboard sanding block to create a 9.5-inch radius on the fretboard, because that's the radius I like. For me. Is this joke old yet? It is, isn't it? I'm sorry. I'm a child. I can stop. I'll stop. After radiusing the fretboard, the outer edges of my fret slots are not deep enough anymore, so I carefully recut those to depth. I wasn't going to add fretboard position markers on this guitar, but I had a change of heart. This process is much easier before the board is radiused, but I'm going to do it anyway. After marking all the centers, I drill shallow holes the exact diameter of my marker material. I'm using 3/8 oak dowels. I use a drop of PVA glue and jam my dowel in the hole, and then I cut it flush with my flush cut saw, if you can believe it. I sand down the markers and clear the sawdust from my fret slots. I use exactly the same process on the side of the fretboard, only with 1/8 inch dowels. Right about here is where I would have shown you how I radius cut and pressed in the fret wire if I had my camera recording, but here I'm filing fret ends. I use my neck plate to mark the holes for the neck bolts inside the neck pocket, and the drill press ensures plumb holes. I put my neck in the neck pocket and run the point of the screw in just enough to poke the holes in the back side of the neck, thinking I would go back and use the drill press to finish the holes. But I figured I could just use the holes I drilled in the body as guides, and it worked well. After masking off the fretboard, I hung the body and the neck from a ceiling beam in my shop and added about 6 coats of Watco wipe-on poly, with about 4 to 6 hours and a light sanding in between coats. Once the finish cured for about 24 hours, it was time to assemble this thing. I gently re-drilled the bridge post thimble holes because I got finish in there. Stupid! I installed the tailpiece for the last time. I shielded the entire cavity with copper tape. Did I mention I hate this stuff? I installed the pickups, wired everything up, and installed the pick guard. I taped off the fretboard one last time and marked each fret with a black Sharpie and leveled the frets with a sanding beam. The marker lets me identify high or low frets. I re-crowned each fret and polished them to a high sheen, but I didn't record it. Stupid! Finally, I applied 2 drops of CA glue to just the front side of the fretboard and held the nut in place until it set up. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. Don't forget to like and subscribe.